Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Kornerstore. I am your boy H Money, aka H1. Welcome to the Kornerstore, where you can get everything from your astrology breakdowns to products to health tips, just general conversation. I built this channel basically to help spread my astrology message and to help everyone else out on their spiritual journey as well as enhance mine. Um, won't give you a long introduction for everyone who does know me. As you know, I was doing breakdowns for the last 12 days or so on astrology, and I got a really good feedback for it. So I basically decided to create this channel specifically for that as well. For people who don't know me, you could call me Money or you could call me H1. Either one is good for you. I will, first of all, have to big up my main man who made me this shirt, Stevie the Don. If you want your shirts pressed, custom, everything from mass, clothing, he got the drip. So you can hit me in my email or my DM or my, did I say email? Yeah. And I'll definitely make that contact happen for you. So let me not waste any time. First of all, the first video will be about why astrology is important. Keep in mind, this is obviously my opinion, my truth. What resonates with you, follow through. If it doesn't, then maybe something else that I put out will resonate with you. The importance of astrology. At first, I was up all last night, because this was supposed to premiere now. I think I've been promoting this for the last 3 days. So at first, I was gonna write down a long list and have a chart down and the whole nine like we were in school. But I said to myself, for me, things come better when it's free flow. So at the end of the day, let me get into why I think astrology is important. For one, when I always introduce this to people, I think a lot of people get turned off at the fact that they read in the newspaper the local astrology and they think it's kind of not true because most of the time you say something to a person like, oh, you're a Pisces, and it's like, yeah, I don't resonate with nothing that the Pisces says. No, I believe I'm this, I'm that, which is actually true because everyone is individual and they are uniquely organic. You are homegrown from your own spiritual path and the whole nine. So let's just get into it. I think astrology is really important to me, first of all, because it is free psychology. I mean, you pay people like therapists and psychologists and guidance counselors get paid decent money, some get big money, to just have conversation about the main goal that most people have, and that is finding out what their purpose is, why they're here, what are some of the feelings that's going on in their life. You got some people who run to psychics or tarots or numerology, and all of these are free studies, and I think astrology is one of the oldest forms, and it's been around since the beginning of time, whether you're talking Mayans, you're talking Aztecs, you're talking Egyptians, you're talking Sumerians. It just keeps going back. Everyone has always had an interest in the stars. So what I would say is very important because let's take an easy example. The sun basically gives life. And every day that the sun rises and comes up, you know that there's life. So if the sun is something that's significant in our everyday life, then you know that the universe has way more astral bodies that also play a significant part in your life. So, for example, Mars or Pluto, which they now took away from us, also have influences into who you are, and the energies that these planets give off also affect you. So astrology is just kind of the importance of where the stars were or the cosmic influences towards you. How do they help you? What gifts do you have? So if you think about astrology more as not like homework or something that's so rigid, and you just think about it as everyone is their own canvas, like a painter. A painter spreads different colors and different ideas. You got famous paintings now that can come from a 5-year-old who just splash paint on the thing. So think about astrology as the universe creating its own portrait, which is you. and the energies or the paintings or the colors that's used on the canvas is what astrology basically is. So, for example, I'll use myself. I'm an Aquarius. So let's just say the Aquarius color would be blue. And I know there's a lot of people out there like, no, that's not our birthstone color. Da, da, da. We'll get into the details and specifics as we go along with this. But for me, I think as an Aquarius, let's just say the color that's painted on my canvas would be blue. So we have shades of blue coming down my canvas, and this represents Aquarius. So Aquarius would be something unique, something unorthodox. Let's say now a Taurus, for example, would be the color of brown or something, and that would be more emotional stability or emotional depth into feeling and sensitivity and direction. Let's say Aries would be orange, and so on and so on. So I think astrology is really important because you really need to find out your purpose, and studying the stars and the importance of where they are and how they resonate with your life can bring many different closures or openings into your life. For example, I love to always ask people that I work with, or just in everyday life, what's your sign? Like, we'll use Biggie, for example. He said, as soon as I woke up on that, I said, what's her name? What's her sign? You know, because you kind of want to know, what are the energies going on between us? What are the energies for future decisions? A lot of people don't know that a lot of the Fortune 500 companies actually invest into finding out and actually have astrology counselors come in, and there's professions in it where you can go in there and pretty much map out the energies for the CEOs or the bosses, so they get a better understanding of who they're working with and their co-workers, their energies and stuff like that. So it's important. It also can help you with your finances. For me, for example, I'll break down the natal chart, and that's what I would like to do, the importance of it, some key things as we go along with this. Think of this thing as just like a actual school. I'm just giving out my perspective of what I think it is. So yeah, I think, for example, me, let's just say I have Aries in my natal chart. I have it in my financial part, which I'll get into the houses as well. Let's just say I have Aries in my money house. So I may be a sporadic spender. Real quick, like anything can happen. I may want to go out and gamble real quick. Boom, let's blow 100 or 100K, whatever your appetite is. So you can think about each zodiac sign and what they represent, and then you start to look at the position where they are in your life, and then you can map out some of the energies you feel inside. So, for example, Bruce Lee was an Aries. So let's just look at Bruce Lee real quick. We know he is one of the most legendary fighters, if not one of the pioneer faces for martial arts. Not saying he created it, but true Aries nature, fearlessness, not being ever, like, not backing down, a total spark in you, very childlike energy, and just a lot of things that propelled him to be the greatest martial artist, or considered to be one of the greatest martial artists. Look, he cared a lot about his physique, and that's an Aries thing. Aries are very combative or force. They're very, and that comes from the fire spark that's in them. So I'm just using these examples, and I'll go through a bunch of different celebrities as we go. And I don't want to make this video into too long, like a documentary or something, but I'm just trying to show examples of why it's very important. And if you start to analyze the stars and things like that, you'll start to really be able to navigate your life a little bit better. Even, for example, I have a bunch of family members, right, that we all have big families in our own right. So think about it like this, right? I have a best friend, and I use the word best friend very loosely because I have tons of friends, but there are people who you're more close with, you know, and I don't like to use words like associates or like that's like corny because I feel like we all in one human family. So, for example, Gemini's are very significant in my life, and I have a lot of best friends or very close family members because I have people that I've met that I call family now. So, for example, I'll just talk about four Geminis. For example, I'll just say my grandmother who passed away, um, the my dude who made this shirt, Stevie the Don, you know, he's another Gemini. I got my man E-Man that I used to go to school with. He's a Gemini as well. And there's other people in my life that's Geminis, but for the sake of just getting into it, I'll show how this understanding of the energies makes it easy, and another important thing to why astrology can help you. So, for example, when I vibe with my dude who made me this shirt, we've always talked about things that are very progressive, brand new ideas, spontaneous. I could joke with him about playing video games or my next, business venture or anything like that, and that's because we're both air signs. So we can always vibe on an intellectual or progressive thought because two air signs, two intellects coming together. Of course, we're up in the air. You understand? We're up in the air. We're floating. We like birds. We migrating through a lot of ideas that we deal with in this life. And then, for example, my grandmother, she was always like treated me very childlike. You know what I mean? Me and my grandmother could always joke back and forth. There was of course obedience and a respect factor, but it wasn't to say, oh, like she'll slap me on my wrist for every little thing. Nah, we would joke about anything from wrestling to news to, it was always childlike. It was always like playful. So those are two air signs coming together. So now another example would be like I got another family member. He's a Taurus, right? And when I was growing up, he was my favorite, like dead ass, my favorite person to be around in times. But I couldn't understand why he would do little things like he knew I would want to play the game, but he would just lock the door for the whole day until he came home. And it's because he had a controlling factor about him because he's a fixed sign, and to him, things that are important to him, he had to protect it in a way. And that is not to say it's a negative situation. We're just talking about how they clash, how they come together, how the cohesion and the understanding of this makes it better. So now looking back at it, it makes perfect sense because he is protecting his domain. So most Tauruses are like that, like the bull. They mark territory and they operate in their system according to how they feel, their comfortability. Whereas for air signs, we're more free. We're more willing to just give. Not saying it's better or bad. I'm just saying the difference of natures. So another thing that it can help with is not only your interactions with your co-workers or your family members, but your loved ones. You can be in a relationship with someone and then you can look at it and say to yourself, why are we always fighting about the same things or continuing pattern? And when you start to look at deep into a person's natal chart or just regular astrology, do real research into it, you can start to figure out a person's nature, or at least try to get a good estimation of it. Like, when you walk into the store, whether you're grocery shopping or you're shopping for clothes, you know how much money you have in your pocket before you walk out. You're not gonna get anything outside of yourself. You're not gonna get anything that you can't afford. You understand? So you map it out, and that's the same thing to do with astrology. You're looking at the map of the energies that you have and how you interact with another person's map. So you're making a grocery list for human behavior or interaction in society. So I think I touched on a lot of different topics, and I don't want to make this thing become too dull, but astrology to me is important, and I feel it's important for a lot of people, especially in this time of coming together and chaos with a lot of things that's going on with COVID and new technologies and all of these different things. I believe that the human family is going to go into a time where it's coming to oneness. Everyone is going to come to an aligned understanding of how we move forward as a human race. So I think astrology is going to be one of the key things, along with numerology and all the other studies, to help you out deal with this spiritual and physical journey. You know, that's why, for example, everyone's into health now, whether it be physically in the gym or physically watching what you eat. You know, everyone is waking up because the soul is jumping to another level, consciously, collectively conscious. You know, so yeah, I think astrology is definitely the headlights on the car, or it is the instinct in your heart that can make you understand a little bit better. And the more you understand more about yourself and the more you understand about others, is the more cohesive we can be. So thank you for paying attention. This is my introductory video as to why astrology is important to me and why I think it should be important to everyone else or anyone who resonates with this. In my next video, I'll be introducing what a natal chart is, and I'll be collectively breaking down each part of it so you can get familiar with a lot of different things that you'll run across. Because I think a lot of times, just to end it off that way, I think a lot of times people lose interest in astrology because they don't really understand how to navigate it, or they weren't taught what it is. But for me, I've had a love for astrology from ever since I can remember. I remember reading mythos and Greek mythology and all of the Egyptian studies from a very young age. And then me and my best friend, he's a Libra, and my Virgo friend as well, we just really were competitive researchers. Like, we were the type where with my other Gemini friend, as I talked about too, when we were together, we would challenge each other in the sense that, oh, you said this, did a word, the other three is looking it up. So we were constantly engaging and practicing research. So we dived headfirst into a lot of subjects, and astrology was one of them that I've always been heavily engulfed in and continue to research and read books, and because it's a never-ending study if you're trying to figure out and better yourself. So I've had my natal chart read 4 to 5 times. I've read numerous books, done my own. And, you know, the last reading I just had was another astrologer. I'll also be doing videos into books, other YouTube pages to go and check out, information, websites, things of that nature, to get the people who are more interested in this thing more sharpened, or, you know, more equipped for their journey. Yeah, we really went into it, and I've always had love for it, and I've been pushed over the years from a lot of people to definitely do this. So, you know, everything is always on time. So now I'm here. So thank you very much. Once again, it's your boy H Money, aka H1. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of the Kornerstore, and I look forward to releasing new content daily. And thank you for all my friends and family who support me. Thank you for all the new people who have encouraged and sent comments and sent messages and totally enjoy me giving them readings. And I look forward to definitely giving as much information as my soul allows me on a daily basis to give out. So enjoy the time. Today is August. We're in Leo season. Shout out to all the Leos. Definitely take this time to check into the Kornerstore for sure. All right. I'll see you guys for the next video.